In a world where superpowers called quirks were the normal, everyone hoped for an amazing quirk as a child to become an amazing hero themselves. But out of those many, this story is about one person. A child that seemed to show more interest in video games than actually playing hero. But for him, the dream of being a hero still was there, and it was confirmed the day he got his quirk. Honey, come downstairs, we're gonna go to the doctors to find out what your quirk is. What did you say, Mom? Azuku, come downstairs! The boy's name was Azuku Midoriya, and this kid was the future of Hero Society. Okay, Mom, I'm here, but can I play my Nintendo on the way? Of course, honey. Yay! On the way, Midoriya continued to play one of his favorite games, Pokemon Ruby, trying to beat his previous speedrun time. Yes, I did it! What did you do, honey? I beat the game in 1 hour and 55 minutes. I beat the first place record. Inko just smiled and pats him on the head. They arrive at the doctor's and they head inside. Hello, doctor. I'm here to check what Azuku's quirk is.
Oh, hello, little one. What do you want to be when you grow up?
A hero, I guess. It would be fun to save people like in the video games. The doctor looks at the kid in confusion, but then tells him to come and he will check his quirk.
Whoa, this is perfect for him.
What is it, doctor? He explains that he seems to have a quirk that deals with bringing programming to life, or being able to materialize programs. Azuku stops playing and looks at the doctor. Does that mean I can bring video games into this world?
Yes, exactly. You are very smart.
Mom, that is so awesome! Inko smiles and tells him I guess all those games he plays will actually be super useful now. They go home and Midoriya begins to think of ways to use his powers. Ooh, what about this? He holds out his hand and a Pokeball appears. Wow, how cool! Oh, I'm tired now. Inko tells him not to use his quirk too much until he gets a little older, because he needs stamina to basically use it, and he's too young to conserve energy while making things. Okay, Mom, I'll be more careful, and I will make sure to start training. Inko smiles and tells him that he will be a great hero. Thanks, Mom. Can I keep playing my games? Of course, honey. Just make sure to get your homework done.
The next day, Midoriya goes to school, and it seems like everyone has their quirks.
Kachan, what's your quirk? Oh, I have, my quirk is explosions. Whoa, Kachan, that's so cool. What about you, Azuku? Oh, mine is something called program materialization. But that is kind of confusing. So the doctor said I can basically make things come to life from video games. Whoa, that is so cool, Izuku. I wonder if you could become a character or maybe just gain their powers. Whoa, that's a great idea, Kachan. They both walk into school and actually both of them are pretty popular. Midoriya doesn't even get bullied because of how relatable his quirk is to the other kids. After he showed them what he can do, they all thought he was awesome. Basically when both Bakugo and Midoriya turned 12, they actually started training and working out their bodies. Well, Midoriya really needed it for his quirk, and Bakugo felt that it was just best for him to tag along and do so as well. Kachan. What is it, Azuku? You know how when we were young, you said that maybe I could gain the powers of video game characters? Yeah, what? Did you figure it out? Yup, watch this. Midoriya pulls out a piece of wood and lead. He smashes them together and he makes a pencil. See, Kachan? It's from Minecraft. Like, I can basically craft things even relating to this world as long as I know their makeup. But well, also if I have the materials. Azuku, that's awesome. But can you do anything else? Yeah, I can, but there's a lot of unknowns. Midoriya then pulls out a Pokeball. Izuku, I've seen this before. No, just watch. Midoriya throws the Pokeball on the ground. Charmander! Izuku, what the hell? How did you figure this out? Well, honestly, it's kind of confusing. I mean,
In simple terms, I basically had to study the coding of the program, and then I was able to create it. So my mom decided to basically put me in advanced coding courses, so that kind of helped me out.
You're such a nerd. I always wondered how you could play so many video games all class but still ace every test.
Midoriya then laughed, saying that, the work there is pretty easy anyways. They both do their own forms of training, but also keep up with their work for school, and one day the teacher has an announcement. Hello class, I would be giving you career aptitude tests, but I know all of you want to go the hero route. As the teacher says this, he basically throws papers into the air, and the class yells with joy. Okay, calm down class. We have 2 students actually applying to UA, both Bakugo and Midoriya. Bakugo stands on the desk and begins saying how he'll be the #1 hero and be the richest hero ever. Everyone then looks to see if Midoriya is going to say something, but he's just on his laptop playing a game. Midoriya, you're not supposed to be playing games in class, you know. But, Teach, I'm listening. I know, but never mind. I still don't understand how you ace every test with ease. Because the tests are easy, Teach. The teacher just rolls his eyes and tells the class to settle down, and then after a while, the class is over. Okay, class, you're all dismissed. Bakugo and Midoriya then leave.
So, nerd, want to do some training?
I can't. I actually got a tournament today.
I swore you just had one last week.
Yeah, but this is grand finals. Bakugo then tells him whatever and good luck, I guess. Thanks, Kachan. I'll see you at the beach to train tomorrow.
Hell yeah, nerd. Don't be late. We gotta clean the beach.
Midoriya waves and heads under a bridge to go home. Gosh, I can't wait to get home. The sewer beneath the bridge then erupts in green sludge. What the hell?
Kid, I didn't know he was here. I need your body.
The sludge villain charges at Midoriya. What the hell is that thing? Midoriya dashed out of the tunnel using an ability from a game he has been playing called Valorant.
You're fast, kid, but that won't save you.
It wasn't supposed to, Mr. Sludge Villain Monster. It was just a stall. Midoriya summons a digital map and points at something on it. I was just stalling for him. All Might then busts through the sewer. Detroit Smash! Midoriya updrafts to the sky and begins to float above the blast. Midoriya lands on the ground. All Might! Are you okay, young man? Oh yeah, I'm fine. I could have beat him myself, but I saw you on my radar, and I honestly didn't want to get in trouble for using my quirk. All Might basically looks at him in confusion, and Midoriya explains his quirk. Whoa, that is an amazing quirk, young man. It's very unique. I've never heard of something like it. Thanks, All Might. That means so much. Where will you be going to school? Oh, I actually plan to go to UA. I'm gonna start training tomorrow. That is good to hear, young man. Yeah, thanks. Oh shoot, I have to go. Thank you, All Might. Midoriya runs off. Damn it, my team is gonna be so mad at me. Midoriya gets home just in time, and he leads his team to win the grand finals, making, well, a decent amount of money. Okay, now I think I'm ready. Midoriya walks down the staircase. Mom, I have a surprise for you. What is it, honey? You know that house you've been looking at for a while? Yes, what about it? Midoriya pulls out a check. Here you go, Mom. For everything you've done for me. This is enough for the house and for it to be furnished. Inko begins to cry and hugs him. She tells him that she will get everything moved in, like basically in the next week, and to not worry about a thing. He thanks her and tells her that he will be training with Bakugo, so that works perfectly. The next day, Bakugo and Midoriya meet up at the beach covered in trash. Okay, you ready, Kachan?
Yeah, of course, nerd, but looks like some girl and her dad are already here, and they started.
They walk over and Midoriya greets them. Hello, I didn't know people would be cleaning the beach. Midoriya looks at a man and then looks at his radar. He thinks to himself that for some reason this man is labeled as All Might. The girl turns. Oh yeah, I'm doing this for training because I'm gonna be going to UA. Wow, that is amazing. What's your name? Oh, I'm Hina Yagi. Midoriya then responds, I'm Azuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you. Bakugo walks up annoyed. Hurry up, nerd, and ask. Oh, yeah, sorry, Kachan. Can we join you in cleaning the beach? We were planning on, training here as well. She looks at her dad and he nods. Midoriya looks at the man and smiles. They clean up the beach together, and for the first about 3 months, Midoriya is basically moved into his new home, and after finishing the beach, Midoriya actually approaches the man. Okay, I didn't want to bring this up when we first started training, but I know who you are. The man looks at the kid confused. It's fine, I won't tell anyone you're All Might. Midoriya shows his radar and it shows All Might on the map. Sorry for trying to deceive you, young Midoriya. No, it's fine, I get it. Midoriya tells him that he doesn't mind, that basically, if he doesn't mind, like he just wants to keep training with Hina. Of course, young Midoriya, that would benefit you both greatly. Thank you. For the next 7 months, Midoriya puts tournaments and all that stuff aside and focused on studying, programming, and basically learning games with extraordinary powers, but also training his body. He also took the time to learn a game called UFC, and which is based on a real-life sport of MMA, allowing him to learn various forms of martial arts and become proficient at all of them in just 7 months, compared to other people who it would take them 10 years at least. Okay, young ones, make sure to study hard for the entrance exam test. They all thank All Might, and Midoriya is about to leave but is stopped by Hina. Oh, hey, what's up? I was wondering if maybe you wanted to go to the entrance exam with me. You know, like I don't want to go by myself. Yeah, of course, but that didn't really sound like what you were gonna ask. Well, talk to you later, Hina. And she waves goodbye to him. She puts her hands in her face, and All Might basically puts his hand on her head. It's okay, Hina. You can do it next time. She nods and goes home. A couple days pass, and Midoriya, Bakugo, and Hina meet up for the exam. They sit next to each other, and President Mike explains the exam that they would be split up. Now to do their written portion, and after he will explain to them the practical. Everyone does so, and Midoriya finishes what's supposed to be an hour-long test in 5 minutes. He walks up to President Mike, and Mike asks if he has a question. Oh, no, I'm just done. It was pretty easy. President Mike looks at him confused and then looks at his paper to see every answer is correct. After everyone is finished, President Mike begins to explain the practical. Okay, little listeners, there will be 3 main robots to worry about. A 1, 2, and 3-point robot. You will destroy those to gain points. And also, there is... A boy stands up, cutting him off, saying that he forgot one, and that he's not a respectable person of UA if he just forgets details like this. The boy then turns and points at Midoriya. And you, why are you even here if you're just gonna play video games? Might as well just leave. Midoriya looks up and looks toward Bakugo. Wait, he's talking to me? Dude, President Mike was about to explain the 4th robot, but you cut him off. Now sit down. The blue-haired boy is about to say another word, but Midoriya pulls out a portal gun, putting one on the ceiling and one beneath the boy. The boy then continuously falls. Nerd, let him out of the loop before you get in trouble. Hina looks at Midoriya and nods as well in agreement. Midoriya turns off the portal and tells the boy to sit down and just shut up. President Mike continues and explains that basically the 0-point robot should just be avoided. Hina, Bakugo, and Azuku are then split up, and they wait at their separate gates. The gates open, and Midoriya goes sprinting out, throwing a Pokeball. Let's go, Charizard! He hops onto the Charizard, and they fly around, destroying tons of robots. And using a blaster, Midoriya basically helps out with his Charizard. They land on the top of the building and just wait for the exam to end. Good job, Charizard. I remember when you were just a cute little Charmander. Now you're flying around like a real dragon. Midoriya pets his Charizard and the ground begins to shake. Whoa, the 0-pointer. Yeah, maybe we should head out. He hops on his Charizard and begins to fly, but then he hears a scream from a girl trapped under rubble. He shoots a portal under her and then on top of a building, and she ends up on the building. He grabs her, throwing her on his Charizard. They fly off to where he can get help. Hey, are you alright? The girl tells him that she is fine. Okay, good to hear. I'm gonna take you to Recovery Girl. He lands and carries her to Recovery Girl. Come back, Charizard. Charizard is then sent back into his Pokeball, and the ball disappears into his belt. Recovery Girl thanks him for the help, and he says it's no problem, and runs off before the girl could actually even say a word. He meets up with Hina and Bakugo, and they basically talk about how they did. They both say that they did really well and definitely passed, but had to stop early because of the zero pointer. Midoriya explains that he had to save a girl from getting crushed by the zero pointer, so if he's lucky, he hopefully can get extra points for that.
Ooh, okay, nerd, making the moves on the ladies.
Kachan, it isn't really like that. Hina then gets flustered and runs off. Huh? What do you think that was about, Kachan? Bakugo says that he's clueless, that she's liked him for months, and that he knows that he basically feels the same. Midoriya then blushes and shakes his head. How do you even know that, Kachan? Like, for sure.
Dude, seriously? One mention of a girl and she freaked out and ran away.
They then head back home, and finally they get their letters a week later.
Young Midoriya, I've seen your progress so much, and I would like to personally welcome you to UA. And not only that, to tell you, you got the highest score on both the written and practical. Congrats, my boy.
Midoriya immediately texts them both, and Bakugo tells him that he will never lose to him again. Wait, Hina's calling me? Why? Hello? Yeah, I can meet you at the beach. Just give me 5 minutes. Midoriya heads out to meet Hina. When he arrives, he sees Hina sitting on a bench. Hey Hina, why did you want to come here? She explains that this is where they first met, and that she felt like this was the best place to tell him this. What is it? She basically confesses to him, and she buries her head in his shoulder. He admits to having feelings for her too as well, and they agree to actually go on a date the weekend after school starts. In the background, you can see All Might jumping for joy. The first day of UA approaches, and Hina and Midoriya walk into a huge door with 1A on it together. Bakugo can be seen with his feet on the desk getting yelled at by the blue-haired boy from before. But Midoriya just ignores it and laughs at Bakugo, and Hina and him sit down. A girl then walks in seeing Midoriya.
Oh, you're the plain-looking boy who saved me.
I guess so?
I'm Ochako Uraraka.
I'm Azuku Midoriya. Are we just gonna ignore that you just called me plain? Hina then starts getting mad as Ochako continues to talk. Hey, Uraraka, you should probably sit down. She asks why and looks at Hina, and Hina smiles with a smile of, I'm going to kill you. She runs to her seat, and the teacher walks in.
Hello, class. I'll be your teacher for the next 3 years. My name is Shota Aizawa. Now go put on these and meet me outside.
Aizawa throws the class PE uniforms and tells them to meet him outside. Everyone gets changed and they head out. Aizawa greets them and says they will be doing a quirk test. He throws Midoriya the ball and tells him to throw it as far as he can. Well, do I have to throw it, Forsay?
What are you talking about, kid? Just move the ball from the circle as far as possible. Better?
Yes, Sensei. Aizawa begins to think that this kid is weird. Midoriya summons a portal gun, shooting the ground below the ball and then shooting a beam at the moon.
Kid, what are you...
Aizawa looks to see the ball gone.
238,900 miles.
Yeah, that makes sense. Midoriya begins to walk back to the line, but Aizawa stops him.
Kid, did you just teleport the ball to the moon?
Yeah, was that against the rules? I'm sorry. Aizawa shakes his head and just tells him good job. The class begins to say that this will be fun, but when Aizawa hears this, he cuts them off, saying fine, that means last place will be expelled. The rest of the test begins, and Midoriya gets first place in most of the events, and first overall because there's a wide variety of items and things to use. For example, during the race, he just basically threw out a Pokeball with Alakazam and just teleported to the finish line.
Okay,
And in last place is Mineta. Mineta begins to beg Aizawa, but Aizawa just says that it was just a logical ruse to make them try their hardest. He dismisses the class and everyone is sent home. So, what did you think of the first day, Hina? Oh, I thought it was fun. The test wasn't too hard, but I guess I can't compare to your performance. Midoriya tells her not to worry, that she can be stronger than even him one day if she trains hard. She smiles and nods. The next day, when they arrive, Aizawa explains that a new teacher will be teaching them.
I am here, walking through like a normal person.
All Might tells the class to get on their hero outfits and meet him at Ground Gamma. They do so, and Bakugo has the same outfit as in canon, but Hina has a similar outfit to All Might, but with more of a white, yellow-ish design. Kind of like Starlight from The Boys, if you guys have seen that series. Midoriya, on the other hand, has a gadgety-looking outfit with headphones and an armband that acts as like a mini-computer. Wow, Hina, I love your costume. It looks like All Might. She smiles and thanks him, saying that he looks good in his outfit as well. And then she glows red while saying this and runs to All Might. She is just always the same. He walks to All Might and as well, and All Might explains the plan.
Well, class, I was going to make you do 2 versus 2 battles, but I decided to scrap that idea. I feel that combat training is important, so all of you will be facing me in a class 1A versus All Might battle.
Everyone looks at him in shock, but Bakugo and Midoriya fist bump. Yeah, we are going to beat All Might.
Well, young ones, meet me out in the city and we will get started.
The class heads out, and All Might stands basically in front of all of them.
Now, class, show me what you got.
Bakugo, Midoriya, and Hina charge in, fighting All Might, but continues to dodge every blast that he tries to knock them away with. More air pressure is then sent to them, but they block it. They turn around to see their class out of commission. Already? What the heck happened? Yo, nerd, they didn't train like us. Now focus up. Midoriya nods and begins to pull things out of his belt. Nerd, what are you? Oh, I like that idea. Good, because I won't be able to move after this. Midoriya grabs 6 Pokeballs and throws them all out, revealing a Charizard, an Alakazam, a Jolteon, Swampert, Blossom, and a Mew. Now, Hina, Kachan, get ready for an opening. Now, Mew, Alakazam, use Psychic! All Might begins to get hit with a powerful move that forces him to one knee, and his head begins to hurt. Now, Blossom, Stun Spore! All Might then gets partially paralyzed. Now, Kachan, Hina, at the same time as my Charizard, attack! They both nod and charge in. Now, Charizard, use Flare Blitz! Charizard smashes into All Might. Hina punches him with 15% of One For All, and Bakugo shoots a massive explosion. Now, Jolteon, use Thunder! A lightning storm appears and strikes All Might. Midoriya collapses to the ground. I think we did it?
Did what, young Midoriya?
Midoriya looks to see Bakugo and Hina being held up by All Might with his clothes basically all ripped to shreds. The match is then won by All Might. Midoriya just begins to pant.
Well, you all need lots of work, but don't be discouraged for you 3. That was amazing teamwork, but brute strength will not always be the solution.
They all nod and thank All Might for the advice, and they're sent off. Oh wait, All Might, let me help you out. Midoriya throws a Pokeball out, and a Chansey appears, healing them both.
Wow, now that is very impressive, young Midoriya.
Thanks, All Might. Just something from a video game. I'll be going now. Return, Chansey. Midoriya runs off and meets up with Hina and Bakugo, and they talk about how the trial went. Bakugo then goes his separate way, and Midoriya and Hina talk about what they should do for their date, and eventually she runs off in embarrassment. He shakes his head and just heads home. Mom, I'm home. Hi, honey. How is my future daughter-in-law? Good, good. Wait, what did you just say?
Nothing.
The next day, Midoriya goes to school, and they end up having the class president selection, and Midoriya got voted as the class president, as well as Momo got the vice president role. Well, thanks for all the votes, and I'm sure me and Momo will do you all justice. The class claps, and Midoriya looks to see Hina with a death stare on her face. He sits down. Hey Hina, it's okay, please don't be mad.
I'm not mad, Azuku. Why would I be mad? Just because some girl is standing so close to you, and now you both will be working more together?
Midoriya pats her on the head, and she calms down. He smiles and tells her basically not to worry.
Well, now that we're done with that, everyone meet me outside on the bus. We're going to the USJ.
The class heads out, and they meet on the bus. Everyone begins talking, and they begin to talk about who has the strongest quirk. Some talk about Todoroki, especially because the fact that he is Endeavor's son. Some say Bakugo, and others say Midoriya. Whoa. You all left out the actual strongest here. Everyone looks at him confused. It's her. He points at Hina, and she slightly punches him and buries her face in his arm. He laughs, and the whole class tells them how cute they are.
Okay, prom children, get off the bus right now.
A buzzing then can be heard from Midoriya.
Midoriya, put your phone away.
Sensei, this isn't my phone. Midoriya pulls out a radar and can see a bunch of question marks. Sensei, look at this.
What the heck is this, problem child?
How many people are in there?
Just one person.
Well, it says here that there's at least 100. Aizawa tells the class to go in without him, and he will call for backup just in case. The class walks in, and 13 greets them. Bakugo greets everyone, but then Aizawa runs in telling everyone to get out. Villains then appear coming out of a portal. Damn it!
13, protect the students. Midoriya, go get help.
Yes, Sensei. Ida tries to protest, saying that he's faster, and Midoriya just rolls his eyes. Don't be dumb, Ida. Midoriya clicks on his map and warps to UA. Sick. Come on, I gotta get these teachers. Midoriya runs into Nezu's office. Nezu, there's villains at the USJ. We need help. Nezu gets on the intercom and tells all the teachers to come to the office right now. They arrive a minute later. Nezu explains the situation and tells them to get going. Wait, stay here. I can get us all there right now. Midoriya then throws out his Alakazam. Everyone, gather around. Alakazam, use teleport. Midoriya and the heroes arrive, and when they get there, Aizawa is laying on the ground almost dead, and some of his class were out cold. Damn it, I wasn't gone that long. In the distance, Shigaraki speaks. Nomu, go kill those heroes until All Might arrives. The Nomu charges at them, and all the pro heroes begin to fight it, but they seem to be struggling. Midoriya dashes away and looks around to find Hina and trying to find Hina and Bakugo. He then sees Hina on the ground. He goes to her. Hina, are you okay? Yeah, but Aizawa. Midoriya looks to see Aizawa out of commission. Midoriya grabs him and brings him to Hina. Do you know where Kacchan is, Hina? No, he got teleported away. But please, Izu, be careful. She passes out. Midoriya pulls out a staff and begins healing them both. Okay, you two stay safe. You should be fine now. Midoriya dashes off and sees the Nomu beating the pros. Damn it, where's All Might? When you need him? Midoriya realizes that he has to do something to help. Well, I really hope this is gonna work, because this definitely will make me tired. Midoriya summons a Master Ball. Move, everyone! Everyone moves, and the Master Ball hits the Nomu. The ball opens, and the Nomu gets stuck in it. Wait, that actually worked? What, nerd? You really took a big risk like that for it not to work? Midoriya laughs and grabs the Master Ball and almost falls on the ground. Gotcha, nerd. Don't worry, take a break. You did great. Midoriya sits down, and as he does, he hears someone bust through the door.
I am here.
Yeah, you're kinda late, All Might.
Sorry, young Midoriya.
Shigaraki begins to scratch his neck.
Damn it. How did that kid defeat the Nomu? Oh, wait, the Nomu isn't even here anymore. How did he do that? Did he really defeat it?
Shigaraki then tells Kurogiri to get him out of there, and they disappear. Okay, this is going to make me sleep for a while, but Midoriya summons Alakazam once again and tells him to make sure everyone gets back safely, including him. He passes out, and he can feel someone carrying him away. He then wakes up in Recovery Girl's office. What happened? What's going on? He then feels someone hugging him. Oh, Hina, you okay? She softly punches him, telling him not to never do something like that again, and they couldn't even heal him like he did for them because they didn't know how to use his staff. Oh, well, the staff wouldn't have worked on me anyway because I was the one who summoned it. And it's just how the game works. She rolls her eyes and holds his hand. Recovery Girl walks in, asking if he's okay. Yeah, I feel fine now. Thank you so much. She says that it's just her job, and she's glad he's awake. It's been 3 days. 3 days? It's been 3 days? She tells him that his class got a small break, so to not worry. Oh, okay, good. He then asks if he can leave, and Recovery Girl lets him, and both Hina and Midoriya walk out holding hands, not actually realizing it.
Young Midoriya, good to see you are awake.
Oh yeah, thanks All Might. All Might then looks at them and smirks, saying welcome to the family. They both let go and blush like crazy.
Come on, you two, it's the most obvious thing in history.
All Might then tells them that school will resume after the weekend and to be ready for the sports festival. They both nod, and Midoriya grabs her hand and teleports away. They arrive at a pizza place, and then he teleports them to the beach. I promised a date on the weekend, so I mean, here we are. She smiles and hugs him, and they eat pizza while watching the sunset. The next week, classes start up again, and Aizawa tells them all to head to the stadium for the sports festival. They wait, and eventually they're all called out to the field. Midnight then invites the class representative to the stage, Azuku Midoriya. He walks up and begins his speech. Honestly, all I want to really say is we have put tons of work, hard work for this day, so I promise we won't be disappointing any of you. Everyone basically begins to cheer, and a lot of the girls begin to say like how hot he is for being a first year. Hina hears this and death stares, and the death stare can be felt throughout the whole stadium. When Midoriya gets back, she hugs him and looks at the crowd. Midnight kind of fangirls over their relationship and then announces the first event as the obstacle course race. The class waits for the signal to go, and Midoriya summons some items. Perfect. This is going to be more fun than flying on my Charizard or just teleporting. He puts on an Elytra and has some fireworks in his inventory. He then flies through the corridor as it gets frozen. Whoa, Todoroki's insane. So cool. Midoriya flies past all the obstacles and everyone watches in shock as he flies so fast that he finishes in 1 minute. Wait, how do I stop this thing? Midoriya tries to slow down, but crashes. Oh, damn, that kind of hurt. Azuku Midoriya gets first place. He stands up and everyone cheers. After a while, everyone finally joins him, seeing Hina, Bakugo, and Todoroki neck and neck, in which Bakugo gets second, Hina gets third, and Todoroki gets fourth. After everyone finishes, Midnight tells everyone that the cavalry battle is up next, and the winner of the last event will have 10 million points. Midoriya begins looking for people and can only get Hina, but then a girl named Mei Hatsume joins them as well. They both begin talking about her inventions and his quirk and how he knows if he knows the blueprint, he can basically instantly make anything she wants. Mei tells him that he should basically come by the lab sometime, and he is about to agree until he feels Hina grabbing his shoulder, squeezing it really hard. Maybe, but it has to be with Hina because, you know, she's my loving and amazing girlfriend. He turns and Hina has calmed down. Damn, she's scary. The three of them then team up, and Midoriya tells them that he can just use Alakazam to make them all levitate. They both agree. Go, Alakazam! Alakazam then makes them float into the sky.
Whoa, it looks like Midoriya's team is floating in the air to keep their headbands. What can't this kid do?
After about 5 minutes of the cavalry battle was over, and Midoriya's team won with ease. The next event is announced as the 1 vs 1 battles. The first match will be Midoriya versus Shinso. Midoriya approaches the stage and Shinso begins to talk.
Hey you, tell me, how were you able to do all those things?
Midoriya then puts on his headphones and begins listening to music. Shinso looks at him in confusion and tries to scream louder, but nothing goes through. Midoriya then pulls out his Nintendo and begins to sing Yesterday by the Beatles. The whole crowd looks in shock, and even President Mike is confused.
I guess this kid is very confident because he's just listening to music and playing a game.
Shinso runs at him and tries to punch him, but he dodges. But he's not even looking at Shinso. He raises his head and continues just to vibe out, and basically his eyes go white and his hair does so as well. Midoriya thinks to himself like, wow, this actually worked, but he probably should win this quickly because it'd probably drain his stamina a bit. He continues to dodge all the attacks thrown at him by Shinso as if his body was moving on its own, and he punches him off the stage. Midoriya's hair goes back to normal, and so does his eyes, and he just goes back to the seating area while still listening to music and playing games. Bakugo approaches him and takes off his headphones.
What was that, you damn nerd?
Oh, Kachan. That power was from this video game I've been playing. What was it called?
When did you learn that?
Oh, last weekend. Oh yeah, it's called Ultra Instinct. From the new Xenoverse game. Something like that.
Whatever, nerd. See you at the finals.
Yeah, whatever, Kachan. That's if you can beat Hina. Bakugo leaves and heads down to the stage and beats Ochako with ease. The next match is Hina versus Momo, in which with her superior martial arts, from basically she learned some from Midoriya, she beats Momo pretty easily. Now the next fight will be Todoroki versus Midoriya. Midoriya walks out and is stopped by Endeavor.
Kid, I seen what you can do in your last match. You're strong. I need you to get my son to use his fire side.
That sounds like a lot of work, Mr. Endeavor. What do I get out of it?
What do you want, kid?
Oh, I want an internship with you.
Fine, you got a deal. Just get it done.
Midoriya walks away smiling, thinking that he really fell for that when he was already going to get Todoroki to use his fire side, because this fight would be boring without it. Midoriya walks on the stage and Todoroki does so as well, and the fight starts.
So Midoriya, no earphones for this fight? No playing games?
Nah, I just want to have fun in this fight. Midoriya's hair turns white and so does his eyes. Shall we, Todoroki? Midoriya charges in and Todoroki uses a huge iceberg, in which it gets thrown at Midoriya, but he flies straight through it using his Charizard. Charizard goes away and Midoriya kicks Todoroki. Midoriya continues to dodge for a while and can see Todoroki slowing down. Wait, why aren't you using your fire side? You're looking a little frosty on one side. Todoroki screams, saying that he'll never use his old man's quirk. Todoroki, but that isn't his quirk, it's your quirk. So what do you get out of this putting in half effort while everyone else is trying their hardest? You can be a hero, the hero you want to be, not him. Todoroki looks at him in shock, remembering those words. Back to basically his childhood, his mom saying practically the same thing. Half his body then erupts in flames. Thank you, Midoriya. You truly are amazing. Same to you, Todoroki. Now I can try something out. Midoriya reaches out his hands and begins to absorb all the electricity around him. In the stadium, his body begins to look electrified. Now, Todoroki, one last attack? Todoroki smiles and nods. Midoriya jumps into the air and does a swan dive right at him, straight out of the infamous game Second Son, one of the games that he's actually been playing. Todoroki basically fires off all his firepower, and Cementos tries to cushion the attack, But when the both massive attacks collide, a massive explosion is made.
Whoa, that explosion was insane. But did either of them stay in the ring?
The smoke begins to clear, and both of them seem to be out of the ring. But when the smoke completely clears, Midoriya is actually laying on his Charizard.
Midoriya is the winner.
Midoriya slowly gets up and is kinda burnt, but not too hurt, so he picks up Todoroki and takes him to Recovery Girl. Damn, Todoroki, you're strong. I almost lost. Midoriya goes back to the bleachers and Hina hits him on the head, telling him not to do something so reckless next time. Sorry, I was having fun. Like, he's really strong. The rest of the fights go to normal, and Midoriya has qualified for the finals. But the next fight is for the last spot in the finals. It's Hina versus Bakugo. They are called to the stage and they both stare each other down, and Midoriya screams for them both. The class asks why isn't he only cheering for his girlfriend, and he says that Kacchan has been his friend since they were little, so he just wants to see a good fight.
Now, the fight will begin between Yagi and Bakugo. Fight!
Bakugo and Hina charge at each other as fast as possible. Hina kicks Bakugo in the stomach, but he grabs her kick, following up with a right hook. She rolls back and begins to shoot pressure through the air, which causes Bakugo to basically get launched. But he stays in bounds using his explosions. Hina gets in a stance and Midoriya looks at her, like basically seeing exactly what she's gonna do. Wow, she's going to beat him with martial arts. The class looks at Midoriya and asks him what is he talking about. He explains that he personally knows every martial art on the planet and she is his girlfriend, so don't you think he would teach her at least some things? They look back at the fight thinking that it's crazy that she can be even stronger because of just some martial arts. Yeah, maybe you all should look into doing more hand-to-hand combat. They watch as Hina dodges a right hook from Bakugo and she grabs him from the back and begins to suplex him. She then grabs his arm out the air and and they both end up on the ground. He tries to shoot an explosion through the arm and hand that she is holding, but she slightly dodges it and kicks him in the head using the heel of her foot, knocking him out cold.
Yagi is the winner.
The crowd goes crazy, saying how amazing they both fight and how insane it was. The next fight is Azuku Midoriya versus Hina Yagi. Midoriya heads out to the stage with his headphones around his neck and stands across from Hina. She screams, basically saying to not go easy on her, and he promises, well, he won't. The fight begins and Midoriya puts on his headphones. He slowly walks toward Hina and she puts her guard up. She begins to think about like what could his plan even be. He stands in front of her and flicks her on the forehead. She punches with 20% of One For All and seemingly strikes him, but he poofs into a log and is behind her. She tries to punch him, but he dodges and his hair turns white once again. She backs up and Midoriya tries to charge after her, but then abruptly stops. Midoriya begins to scream in pain, and a black-like aura comes out of his body, and his body feels like it's ripping apart.
What the hell? What is this from? Ultra Instinct?
He continues to scream, and his body seemingly begins to go into shock after the use of the power.
Hizu, are you okay?
Midoriya looks up and tells her to back up and to stay away. Ultra Instinct made his power go wild. Electricity began flowing from the stadium into his body, and every power he has begins to just come out.
I can't stop it.
Midoriya looks up toward the booth and sees Aizawa. He screams his name and Aizawa activates his quirk, and the power subsides and all his powers go back into his body. The crowd begins to say, like, what just happened? And that he shouldn't be fighting anymore, that this fight's over, he's too badly hurt. Midoriya then slowly begins to stand up.
Izu, just stay down. Who cares about the fight?
I'm sorry, I can't show you everything I have, Hina. But I don't really know what happened, to be honest. Midoriya's body is tattered up, and Midnight asks if he can truly continue. Hina is about to tell her no, but then Midoriya cuts her off, saying yes, he can. Izu, what are you doing? I'm giving you the fight. I can't break my promise. She gets mad, saying screw that he needs to go to Recovery Girl. A golden apple then appears in his hand, and he eats it, and tells her that, see, now he's fine. Hina shakes her head, and tells him that his stubbornness will make him lose. She charges in, and Midoriya is feeling better, but nowhere near 100%. Realizing that he can't even use his quirk just in case, because it may go haywire again, and maybe this time it might even destroy the whole area. So he decides to strictly use martial arts. He dodges out of the way of her attack and kicks her in the leg, and he continues to try and maintain the reach length, like the perfect distance between him and Hina. He kicks her leg once again, and when she steps back on it, it feels weaker. How are you doing that? Midoriya tells her that he knows every martial art, so he knows the human body pretty well. And he also knows exactly where to kick, and even without his quirk, he can still put up a decent fight. Hina decides to keep her distance and begins launching pressurized air at Midoriya, forcing him to dodge and try to close the distance. When Midoriya gets close and their fists collide, this white aura erupts once again, but then goes away instantly. He looks at his hand and begins thinking that this is the first time his body has adapted to a power. So what if that's what's happening now? He begins to think that maybe this Ultra Instinct power is some sort of power that's not supposed to be used by a mortal or by a normal human. So maybe that's why his body's reacting in that way. But now his body's actually adapting to said power. Midoriya charges in once again and begins fighting, and he can feel that he actually got stronger than before. But obviously before he had mild super strength, but something happened now that his body adjusted from a close death experience and made him even stronger. Midoriya, even with this, doesn't feel comfortable even using his quirk in the situation. So he just decides to raise his hand and talks. I forfeit. This fight will keep going until I make a mistake, and frankly, in my current state, I'm just destined to lose this fight. Midnight decides to call the match off in favor of Hina, and Midoriya walks up to her apologizing, but saying that she helped him learn something very important about his quirk, so it wasn't a complete loss. She tells him that she wanted him to forfeit anyways because she was worried, and that for now she will take this win. Bakugo, Midoriya, and Hina get their medals from All Might, and the sports festival concludes. Midoriya begins to head home, but Aizawa stops him, asking what happened. Midoriya explains that the power he used has some repercussions, and that he didn't think about it at the time, and that's probably what's happening to him, and that's probably what happened to his power.
No, I know that, kid. But you said you couldn't win, but I could tell you were getting better as you fought.
Midoriya scratches the back of his head. Well, you're kinda right, but honestly I was more worried about hurting someone because of, another surge of power like that. Because if my power got, out of control again, it might have completely torn down the stadium. Aizawa shakes his head and tells him, he did good anyways, so go home now. Midoriya heads home, and his mom is waiting. Hey, Mom. Don't mom me. You almost died. No, I didn't, Mom, but trust me, I was just as scared as you. Inko shakes her head and hugs him, saying to be more careful next time, and that he almost hurt her future daughter-in-law. Midoriya shakes his head and rolls his eyes, and he goes to bed. The next day, he arrives at UA, and Aizawa begins to explain that these are the numbers for the highest, offers for all the students. Hina, Midoriya, and Bakugo actually got the highest, as well as Todoroki. Aizawa hands out sheets with the names of the people that offered them, and Midoriya looks at for the name he wanted to go. Wow, a man of your word, I see. Hina asks what is he talking about, and he tells her that he got Endeavor to offer him. Todoroki hears this, asking if that's why he did what he did in the sports festival, and Midoriya tells him that he was going to do that anyways, and he basically just got something free out of Endeavor. Todoroki laughs, saying that was a pretty good idea. So, Hina, where are you going? Well, my dad wants me to go to Gran Torino, his old master. Oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I hope so, but he's pretty scared. I mean, Gran Torino is supposedly really scary. Aizawa tells the class to be quiet and that they will be choosing their hero names, and since he isn't very good at that Midnight will be helping. She enters the class and tells them all to write their names or potential hero names on a whiteboard. Hina decides basically to just go with her normal name as her hero name, and Midoriya really can't decide what his name should be until the very end of class. Wait, I got it, Miss Midnight. He comes up and shows his board. The gamer hero, hacker. Everyone looks at him, asking if he actually does hack, and that's kind of lame if he does. Of course not, but I mean I could if I really wanted to. Honestly, if I wanted to, I could really just hack anything. I can hack your phones right now. They all look in shock, and Midnight says that she likes it and tells him to sit down. The class is over, and Midoriya and Shoto the next day meet up, and a car picks them up and takes them to Endeavor's agency. Midoriya texts Hina, saying that if she needs anything, he can always be there in an instant. She tells him thanks, but hopefully nothing bad happens. When they arrive, Endeavor greets them, but makes it apparent that he does not care about Midoriya. Yeah, I know, Endeavor, but I can still learn from watching. Endeavor says that he will be training with Shoto at least, so he can have that. For the next couple days, they both spar, and Endeavor makes Midoriya teach Shoto hand-to-hand combat after seeing what he did basically to Hina without even using a quirk. Midoriya does so, and he doesn't even mind doing it. Like, he feels that Shoto is his friend, so, it was on the agenda anyways. At the end of their training, Endeavor tells them to follow him and that they're going hunting for the hero killer at Hosu City. They all jump in the car, and when they arrive, the city is practically on fire and Midoriya's phone buzzes like crazy. Shoto, look at this. Azuku, is that Hina? She must be in trouble. Yeah, I have to go. Shoto tells him that he's coming too, and tells Endeavor to send backup at the location he sent to his phone. Midoriya teleports to them, and Midoriya kicks Stain away just as he was about to stab Ida. Isu! Hina, are you okay? She explains that his quirk paralyzes you if he licks your blood, and Midoriya nods and drops a Pokeball out of his hand. Jolteon, Thunder Wave. Stain gets hit with the attack and can barely move. Enough, hero killer, we're bringing you in. Dumb kid. I've dealt with stronger attacks than these. He basically begins pushing through the paralysis and jumps at them. Shoto covers him in ice, and Stain is stuck against the wall once again. Damn kids, how are you able to do this? Midoriya looks at him saying that he isn't here to play games. That when you hurt his friends, and especially his girlfriend, he doesn't deserve a chance to fight. Midoriya dashes at the frozen and, basically paralyzed hero killer and knocks him out using a pressure point. Wow, that was pretty impressive, Midoriya. Thanks, Shoto, but we need to get your dad over here. Endeavor arrives and takes the hero killer away, but as he does this, Stain reawakens and somehow pushes through the paralysis, slicing at Endeavor and paralyzing him, and he basically sprints off, sort of limping. Damn it, he got away? Ito looks in shock, but Midoriya tells him to not even think about it. That basically if he gets caught, that he will get caught, and the next time he does something stupid like that, don't expect so much help. Ida bows and apologizes to him. You shouldn't be apologizing to me. You should be apologizing to her. He does so and apologizes to Hina, and Endeavor finally breaks free of the paralysis. And when they leave, the news of Stain's escape is all over. Well, the news. But thankfully, nobody was hurt. The UA students are forced back to school because of the situation, and school starts up again 3 days later.
Okay, listen up, problem children. We have a final exam very soon, so you need to start studying. On top of that, if you don't pass, you will not get invited to the Forest Training Lodge. We go on, well, during your break. Now get to studying.
Aizawa falls asleep, and Midoriya, well, continues to play games. Hina walks up to him, telling him he needs to study. No, I'll be fine, don't worry so much. She slightly hits him on the head and tells her that he tells her that his eyes and ears allow him to soak in all information and store it and never forget it. And he basically explains it in simple terms, as just a side effect of having powers from the smartest characters he knows from different video games. She tells him that his powers are just unfair, and well, he agrees. After a couple of days, everyone takes their exams, and they are told to meet at the gym.
Okay, problem children. For your practical, you'll be fighting in pairs against teachers, and well, here are the matches.
Aizawa says them all, but left out Hina and Midoriya.
Don't worry, I didn't forget you two, but you will be facing... I am here, and I will be your opponent.
All Might comes basically flying in from the sky. Both Hina and Midoriya get excited, and excluding Bakugo, everyone looks at them like, well, they're insane. The rest of the matches go normally, and Bakugo is, well, placed on a different team this time around, but ain't no teacher gonna stop Bakugo, let's be honest. But now it's time for All Might versus Hina and Midoriya. They begin to head toward All Might, and Midoriya tells Hina that he has a plan. He drops a Master Ball, and a Pokemon comes out, but nothing that actually looks familiar to Hina. Oh, what is that? Just a secret weapon that I've been working on. Now it's time to show All Might what we can do. When the Master Ball hits the ground, a Pokemon with the long blue tail appears. This is Mewtwo, my trump card for this final fight. Mewtwo then tells them telepathically that he is ready to move when they are. They both nod and they start levitating, and Mewtwo flies with both Hina and Midoriya toward All Might. All three of them charge at All Might, but even with the three of them, All Might can still hold them off. Midoriya gathers electricity from all around him and jumps straight up into the air and dives toward All Might. Mewtwo holds him still, and when he lands, a giant explosion can be seen. The smoke clears, and All Might stands with half his clothes burnt off.
That was impressive, but it seems like your trump card didn't work.
See, All Might, you always make sure to have a trump card to your trump card. Hina then lifts her wrist, and a gemstone can be seen, and she clicks it, and a light begins to glimmer from it. Mewtwo's gem as well begins to glimmer, and All Might looks on in shock. Now, Hina! Midoriya begins to shock All Might, and Hina and Mewtwo X charges at him, punching him in the face and putting cuffs on his arm. Hina and Midoriya pass. Midoriya calls back Mewtwo, and they both hug in celebration. All Might slowly gets up and says how proud he is of their development and teamwork. The class is then told by Aizawa that pass or fail, everyone is going to the Forest Lodge, and to make sure to get ready by tomorrow. Everyone leaves, and the next day, they head on the bus. They all arrive at a cliff and are greeted by the Wild Wild Pussycats. But when they arrive, after the introductions themselves, they introduce themselves and such, Class 1B and their bus goes by them. The class looks in shock and realizes what this means. The cliff begins to turn into waves and they all get thrown off. Midoriya throws his Alakazam out and he catches the entire class. Everyone okay? The class nods and they begin making their way through the forest, fending off various monsters that were created to stop them. After hours, they finally make it to the training camp and Aizawa greets them.
Okay, problem children, go get cleaned up and eat, and tomorrow the real training begins.
They all agree and head out. After getting a good night's rest, Aizawa wakes them up early and explains what the plan is for the entire camp.
Okay, listen, You all haven't been truly training your quirks, so that is what we'll be doing.
Aizawa tells each student what they need to do and eventually gets to Midoriya.
Your quirk is tricky, kid, but you should try and figure out more about this white-haired form and see if maybe you can control it.
I don't know if that's a good idea, Aizawa, but I can use other forms that I learned, but I think the form kinda is a built-in rejection of my body. Aizawa nods and tells him to work on any forms he wants. Midoriya heads off and begins training. The whole class can hear screaming, and the ground begins to shake, and a gold glimmer can be seen from the distance away. Okay, now this is more doable, and it increases my strength a ton, but charging this up in a real battle may not be practical. For the next week, the class trains and works on their quirks, eventually leading to the end of their time at the Forest Lodge. Aizawa gathers everyone up and basically leaves. Midoriya sleeps on the bus with Hina from basically all the strain he's been going through using his Super Saiyan form and trying to transcend that form into a safe and manageable way, but unfortunately not really finding a good use out of it. Yes, it does increase his strength and overall endurance and stuff, but transforming takes so long that he feels that it might not actually be doable in the end.
Class, we'll be at UA very soon.
Everyone's phones begin to buzz as Aizawa says this, and everyone sees All Might fighting All For One in the middle of a city near them. Aizawa tells the bus driver to do a minor detour to avoid the fight, and they have to stop at a nearby place and begin watching the TV. As they watch, it seems like All Might may actually lose this fight. Hina begins crying and Midoriya holds her hand. Aizawa, I can help. I can help him.
Kid, you know I can't let you do that.
You can't go out there. What if it's not me that goes? Aizawa looks in confusion, but then realizes what he's saying, and Aizawa nods. Midoriya throws out his Master Ball and Mewtwo appears.
What do you need, Midoriya?
Well, Mewtwo, I won't be there to guide you, but you need to help All Might, and I can teleport you to him if you need.
No need, I can get there myself.
Sounds good. I will activate your Megastone when you arrive. Mewtwo teleports away and arrives on the scene. The class sees Midoriya tap on his wrist with the Megastone, and Mewtwo begins to change. All Might looks up and smiles.
What's so funny, All Might? Your own death, that amusing?
All Might buffs his right arm, ready for his last clash with All For One. They charge at each other, but All For One is about to connect, but he is frozen in place. All Might lands his final punch with the last embers of One For All and knocks him out cold. He then points at the camera as Mewtwo teleports back and Midoriya tells him he did good. He re-enters his Master Ball and Midoriya just smiles at Hina and she hugs him, thanking him for helping. After some time off, classes are finally resumed and UA is actually moved into dorms, well, for their student safety. And from the knowledge of Midoriya, nobody actually knows that he helped All Might, and he's actually fine with that because he knows that if word got out, he could get into serious trouble. Aizawa enters the class and explains that they'll be working on their super moves, and 2 days from now they will be participating in the provisional hero license exam. Everyone nods and heads to the gym, but he stops Midoriya.
Not you, kid. Here, this is an address a car will be taking you to. The car will be taking you there soon.
Am I in trouble, Aizawa?
I was told not to tell you anything, but you'll be there for a while.
Midoriya looks in confusion and just heads to the car. A man takes him to what looks like an agency, and when he enters, he's greeted by a girl that is known as Bubble Girl, and she brings him into an office. She leaves saying Sir Night-Eye will be with him soon. He says okay, but then realizes what she just said. Sir Night-Eye. What could he want? He enters the room a couple minutes later and sits on his desk.
So you're Azuku Midoriya, huh?
Yes. Am I in trouble, Sir Night-Eye? Actually, quite the opposite. I want to thank you for your assistance in helping All Might. Midoriya tries to say that wasn't him, but Night Eye tells him that All Might already told him otherwise. Well, I appreciate the praise, Night Eye, but Aizawa said I would be here mostly for the next 2 weeks or so? I was kind of confused when he sent me that message. Yeah, kid, here. Night Eye throws him a card and it says provisional hero license on it. Whoa, are you serious? Yep, Aizawa thought it was the best way of repayment as well. On top of that, I would like to offer you a work study position in my agency. I need you to find something. Or someone. Okay, what do you need? Night Eye reveals a board with all the information on Overhaul and the Shiha Zaikai. I need you to find this man, or at least help in the search. I heard your Quirk can do some amazing things. Yeah, just give me some time and I should be able to find him. Thank you, Midoriya. Now, let me know if you need anything. Midoriya, for the next couple days, began creating devices and analyzing all the data he could find on Overhaul until he found certain locations that he actually has been seen at. He set up invisible cameras and waited for a ping. He didn't sleep for days. Night Eye would always come into his office and tell him to sleep, but Midoriya knew that this was practically the only chance of finding him. His cameras were straight from one of his favorite video games, allowing him to shoot a tracking dart at someone. So he waited and waited until Overhaul finally showed himself in one of his cameras. Midoriya shot the tracking dart, in which blended in with his clothing. Night Eye, you need to come to the agency. Midoriya hangs up and Night Eye enters. Midoriya throws a tracker to him. That is where you'll find Overhaul. I need to sleep now. Wake me up when you're ready to invade. Night Eye smiles and tells Midoriya good job, and Midoriya crashes out after staying up for straight up 3 days. After sleeping for a while, Midoriya is sent to a conference room where tons of heroes and even some of his classmates, including Hina, are residing. He sat next to her and asked what agency she's with, and she said Night Eye's agency. But Midoriya has been so caught up in finding Overhaul, he didn't even realize she was there. I'm so sorry, Hina. I didn't mean to. She cuts him off and smiles, saying that he did a good job and she wouldn't be mad about that. Night Eye asks Midoriya to stand and explain how he found his info. Midoriya explains the process he went through, and the heroes are impressed and ask Night Eye when they're going to invade. Well, we're gonna go early in the morning tomorrow in groups, so be ready for a fight. Everyone agrees, and the next morning they all meet up and head to the base of the Shiha Zaikai. The police officer tells them to wait for him to read them their rights and get ready to approach. Midoriya begins to feel his Pokeballs shaking in excitement, thinking that this is the first real mission as a hero squad. You ready, kid? You know it. The heroes invade the hideout and begin searching, but are quickly split up, so Midoriya sends out Mewtwo to help with their mobility. Night Eye and Mirio are with Midoriya, and they begin proceeding through the hideout while the rest of the heroes distract and fight off other villains. They come to a corridor and they see Overhaul leaving with a little girl. Mirio charges at him, punching him and sending him into a giant room. Mirio begins fighting Overhaul, and Midoriya gets his Charizard to basically escort the little girl with Night Eye out of the building. To make sure she's safe first, Night Eye, then come back to help us. Night Eye nods and runs off with Eri and Charizard. Midoriya joins the fight and begins electrocuting Overhaul. Overhaul sends spikes at him, which graze him, but Mirio is able to counter and attack as well. Hacker, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine, Lemillion. Stay focused. Midoriya and Mirio attack Overhaul together, and Midoriya outmatches him in pure martial arts by a lot. Overhaul is able to use his quirk to his advantage. A bullet then flies toward Mirio, and Midoriya jumps in the way, taking the hit, because he realized Mirio wouldn't be able to react in time to phase through it. Normally, this wouldn't be a problem. Actually, from multiple video games, he's pretty bullet resistant, but this one was different. Hacker, what happened? The man who shot the bullet is then charged at by Mewtwo and knocked out. Mewtwo then basically is pissed and is about to charge at Overhaul. You hurt Midoriya, now you will pay. Mewtwo begins to beat on Overhaul pretty badly, and this is without even being Mega Evolved. But Mewtwo then begins to glitch out and disappears. What? Lemillion, my quirk is... Mewtwo then fully disappears, and even Charizard as well with Night Eye, he actually disappears as well. And Night Eye sees this and begins to worry. Mirio attacks Overhaul, but Overhaul still has some life in it. He sends spikes at Mirio, but they were actually directed for Midoriya. Mirio pushes Midoriya out of the way, but gets hit pretty good by the spikes. Mirio! No, we had this one. Dumb kid. Beat me? You have to be joking. Midoriya stands in front of Mirio and walks toward Overhaul. What are you going to do? You're quirkless, kid. Midoriya shakes his head and realizes that he could win this with everything he has learned to this point. Overhaul tries to touch him, but his martial arts begins to show. Midoriya begins hitting all over Overhaul's vital points and moving around him in an amazing way. It's like his fighting alone felt untouchable. It seemed as if his body was currently moving on its own. Midoriya realized that losing all of this, his power and everything, truly unlocked something special. A true Ultra Instinct, but not one from a video game. Something only a true martial artist could learn. Overhaul grew frustrated until he finally touched Midoriya, but nothing happened. Overhaul looked in shock, and a huge grin was on Midoriya's face. I canceled your quirk. Frankly, wasn't sure if it would work, but I'm not dead, so obviously it did. Midoriya chops his neck really hard, knocking him out and cuffing him with quirk canceling cuffs. Midoriya looks at Mirio and throws up the thumbs up and smiles, but then passes out from exhaustion. He wakes up days later to everyone standing around him. Hey, what's happening? Hina runs over and hugs him. I'm fine, don't worry. She doesn't say a word and just keeps crying. And then Aizawa speaks. Kid, you know you're quirkless, right? Yeah, I do, but it's okay. They all look in shock and he just pats Hina's head. Being a hero is still my goal, and frankly, being the number one is still my goal. Hina tells him that without a quirk, it's gonna be a lot more dangerous, but he cuts her off and says that he was never concerned about the danger. Honestly, being a hero is important to me, even if that means just saving one person. I mean, as long as UA still accepts me as a quirkless student. Aizawa smiles and nods, saying, of course they would. Okay then, time to be the first quirkless hero. Midoriya smiles wide in excitement, and everyone around him does so as well, knowing that Midoriya, of all people, can be the one who can break the mold of hero society.